And ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Jay Reef.
And today, I forgot to state my vitamins this morning. Glimpse behind the curtain.
Oh my god.
And today's I think it's the 5th episode, doesn't matter, whatever it is. It's Twilight Zone. We're doing our top 50 favorite episodes in no particular order, apart from our number one, which we both share. Maybe we do a ranking.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. We're going to start this today. We're going to start this at the end of this episode. We are going to rank our first 4 episodes, and then moving forward, we will rank them.
Okay.
Okay, so that's fun. I love rankings. This is I love rankings. On the blog, you will find my my personal top 20 episodes. You will also find my top 15 episodes of each series. However, now we will have a podcast ranking as well. Oh, this is wonderful. I love ranking things.
Me too.
Today we're talking about the masks. This is our first episode from season 5, I want to say. We've second. Oh, of course we did Nightmare, didn't we? Yes.
Yeah.
A lovely little Nolan set episode in the Twilight Zone. Jay's midnight message when he watches them at midnight this time around was, it's the Twilight Zone set in New Orleans.
No, it was the Twilight Zone is New Orleans.
Oh, the Twilight Zone is New Orleans.
That's what he said. He was like,
the Twilight Zone.
He's in New Orleans, which is also the Twilight Zone, or something like that. Just maybe not.
The yes, maybe I'm a terrible fan, but I think this is the only one we have set in New Orleans. I think the Mardi Gras setting and the masks of it all, it gives a lovely little setting to the tale that we're about to tell. Obviously, the masks are intrinsic. They are, of course, the title. A very, very simple tale of a kindly old man slowly dying.
Kindly.
I think he's pretty kindly.
Yeah.
I think he's a good man.
Yeah. He was a very good character.
Yes, Robert Keith playing Jason Foster. And basically he's going to die. But he's a very, very wealthy man. And so all this money is laying around and all of his funds, and you're going to dig deep into the treasury. And that, of course, means, unfortunately, that it's all going to go to the world's worst people in the world.
Oh, my God.
So we've got his son, Wilfred, and then his daughter, Emily. Yeah. Emily's a sort of claustrophobe and not agoraphobe. What am I trying to say? Where you worry about everything. It starts with an A. Hypochondriac. It doesn't start with an A.
Yeah.
Hypochondriac starts with an A. She's a hypochondriac, and she's, clearly using all of her worries and anxieties and these illnesses to just avoid seeing her father. And then we have Wilfred, who's the businessman, and he's very Scrooge-like, according to Jason. He's, you don't look at books, you weigh them up. You don't look at paintings, you see your praise paintings. You don't see the truth and the beauty in them. And then Wilfred's kids, the worst children in the world.
Oh my God.
Paula, who's just very vain and cruel. And then Wilfred Jr., who apparently
kills animals.
Yeah, it takes a big leap. So all of these people are just cruel. And then Wilfred Jr. is this like stunted Arrested Development youth who also happens to kill animals. So took a real big turn. Took a real turn there.
That was something.
And a delightful turn of events there. So yeah, that's the masks. Was this an episode that you'd seen before, Jay?
Nope, I had no idea about any of it at
And
all.
so the twist was a delightful
Yes.
surprise for you.
I guessed it.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, I guess there would be something to do with the masks either not coming off or changing their face somehow.
Like, what's the Goosebumps episode? Is it the Haunted Mask?
Oh, I don't know. This did remind me of Goosebumps, though.
Yeah, well, it's the same like ugly Twilight Zone makeup that they always have. Yeah. It's always the same, like vaguely ugly. And it's just like vague contortions and oh god, I'm sniffling. Yeah, vague contortions. And I think again it works. Now, do you think overall the episode is, I think it's a very satisfying episode. I'm trying to phrase. When it comes down to the characters themselves, do you think they are overly cartoonish, or do you think it perfectly fits the episode? I'd have to say that the world created lends to it, and every caricature is justified.
I agree.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, go on.
I liked the characters in this quite a lot. I think the Jason, that's the main character's name, right?
Yeah.
The old. Yeah, I think he might be my favorite Twilight Zone character so far.
Oh, he is quite delightful. He is.
Yeah, he was really good.
He is, and also from the off, like it's just an interesting character choice to that. I like the doctor. You're my doctor because you speak plainly. That's there we go. Right. Oh, we're set up for our ranking.
That's a good point as well, because like, if you think about it, the doctor's the only honest one in the episode besides Jason. So, which is probably why he likes him so much compared to his family, who are like all dishonest, greedy.
I mean, I just love the minute he dies. He's dead. Good.
Yeah.
I mean,
at last.
Yes. Oh, thank God. And like I love the performance of Milton Seltzer as Wilfred Senior, and because he's clearly the money man and he knows that we have to be on the good side. Whereas the kids are still quite young, and so think that they'll just inherit the earth. Whereas Wilfred understands that there is the distinct possibility that he could just spite them all and donate it all to charity or something. Little do they know the real way he's going to spite them all. So this was Robert Keith's last acting role. He would die 2 years later at the age of 76. And I think it's quite a dark thing to say, but I think his withered age does lend to the episode. We can see a life. We can see that sort of. I mean, I love just lovely little Serlingism at the start. I love the way he describes him as a tired ancient. That's your introduction. That's a pretty solid introduction. So this is a Serling script, original for the show, not based on anything. And interesting, this is the only episode of the Twilight Zone directed by a woman.
Really?
It's directed by Ida Lupino, who was an actress in her own right, and she was in an earlier Twilight Zone episode called the 16mm Shrine, which is a fine episode, quite enjoyable, not exceptional, very Sunset Boulevard-y by way of the Twilight Zone. She would go on to direct episodes of Gilligan's Island, lots of TV in the 60s and 70s, as well as the film The Trouble with Angels with Rosalind Russell, which also looks quite delightful. But yes, and then that same year, she directed a Bewitched episode called A is for Aardvark, which is also quite delightful. So she isn't only the only woman to ever direct, she's also the only person to star in an episode and direct an episode. So there you go. Ida Lupino knocking down Twilight Zone barriers there. And I think it's a lovely directed episode. Perhaps not with the visual flourishes of other episodes. However, as a chamber piece, as a play, I think it's very clear that the strengths of Ida Lupino's acting as clearly, I get the, the whole actors director thing in this episode.
Yeah.
I get the whole it's a bit like what we're talking about with some things being a touch over the top, maybe. I greatly, as I say, I greatly enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like any flashy directing, but it did the job. It was good.
And also I like how plainly it's clearly a decision, but I like how simply, rather, the final mask reveal is done.
Yeah.
Comparing this to Eye of the Beholder, and the reveals of that, of the faces of that, these wonderful, by Douglas Hayes, these great zooms and these angles, but that leans better into the visual language of that episode, because that entire episode is this tightrope walk of avoiding shadows and staying in shadows and avoiding lights, and it's this wonderful, wonderful tightrope. Whereas this is, as I say, quite a chamber piece, quite simply shot, which brings us on to well, let's talk about the episode. So it starts off with this with the people who work for Jason Foster, and he and she is very angrily placing flowers. Oh, those kids are coming, and immediately we're saying to the motions of, these kids, who are these kids? Yeah. These must be terrible.
Yeah.
And I think one of the great joys of the episode is that when we finally meet the things, they live up to it. They certainly live up to it. And in the case of Wilfred Jr., and then some, with the killing of the animals.
Such a creepy, like that creepy, quiet, like.
Yeah, I think the joy, you'd read this script and it's like, oh, he kills animals. And he's like, and you'd expect the performance of a lesser actor or a directed less well to be all, but half the joy of Norman Bates is that he's a pretty normal guy.
Yeah.
He's a pretty normal guy. I always think of Taxi Driver, and Taxi Driver is a whole other matter, but you believe that he can go on a date with Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah.
De Niro, the way that De Niro flirts with her, it's quite believable. Which and then you take Joker as an example, and it's like, who would? I know that she was like an imagination or whatever, but it's like, who would go? You wouldn't go on a date with this guy, even if it is an illusion. Anyway, which then strains the credulity and then gives away the twist far earlier. I remember watching Joker and the gasps when she was revealed to be fake. I thought,
seriously.
I thought, well, I was watching in America. Sorry to all our American listeners.
Jeez.
I think I've talked about this before. When I was in America, it was the, I want to say 60th anniversary of Twilight Zone, and there was like a nationwide cinema release, and it was 3 hours long, and it was wonderful evening, and it was The Invaders, Time Enough at Last, Walking Distance, Eye of the Beholder, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up, and To Serve Man, and it was just three great hours of my life.
Sounds fantastic.
It was, and then a lovely interview with Sterling's daughter after. It was a very, very good evening. And then they were playing like this trivia before. I was like, I know everything. And then when they announced, when they did the Serling introduction for Eye of the Beholder as the next episode, the guy next to me went, yes. And it was quite delightful. It was quite delightful. But enough about that. We're talking about the masks. We're talking about the masks. Let's do some.
We haven't mentioned the assistant now, the servant.
Oh yes, the helper. Very, very just. Let's put a name to this individual. I can't. There is not on IMDb.
What? Oh.
We only have the kids, Jason and Dr. Samuel Thorne, played by Willis Boucher. I think it's the performances of the initial helper at the start putting the flowers, and it's the performance of the other helper later in the evening that best, and then of course the opening scene with the doctor, that best show us how nice and how good a man this Jason is.
Yeah.
The way that they're talking about the kids, it's not the way that they react when he dies. We get to see very clearly, without, you know, the big line of he's the best man in this town, you kids are terrible. And of course Jason, and of course Robert Keith's performance, we really get a sense of how good and honest a man this Jason was. And then you know, which then leads the children. It's a tragedy. It's a lovely little tragedy of legacy, and what can you do when your legacy is something that you want to tarnish and end, rather than something that you want to praise and honor and go on forever. A lovely episode, which of course, like, we've not even talked about the mask. Oh, go on, say again.
Bill Walker played Jeffrey the Butler.
Jeffrey the Butler.
Yes.
Wonderful stuff. For you, are the masks, I've always felt this, maybe this is just me, are the masks not contorted enough? I think they're like pretty livable. I mean, for these people, yeah, sure, they're going to think their entire lives are ruined. But every time I forget how, well, it's not sparing. They're still like completely suddenly deformed in these wonderful makeups. But it's not like as bad as Eye of the Beholder or something like that. I guess maybe they're trying to be more realistic, but that you not really.
You know what? Yeah, I agree.
But then I think my counterpoint would be, my counterpoint would be, it's just enough of a contortion where they can continue their normal lives.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was these horrific, you know, Elephant Man-esque, Eye of the Beholder-esque makeups, then they'd suddenly put themselves into exile or whatever, or you know, something, an even darker choice they might take. So
what was it he said to them before he died, where he was like,
I am dead.
Good luck or something.
I'll tell you
it
what
was like said. Good luck. Or
why indeed, Emily? Because you're cruel and miserable, because none of you respond to love. Emily responds only to what her petty hungers dictate. Wilfred responds only to things that have weight and bulk and value. He feels books, he doesn't read them. He appraises paintings, he doesn't seek out their truth or their beauty. And Paul there lives in a mirror. The world is nothing to her than a reflection of herself and her brother. Humanity to him is a small animal caught in a trap to be tormented. Every time it takes me by surprise. It's like, okay, she's vain. She's a hypochondriac. He's really like, he's a miser. This guy kills animals. His pleasure is the giving of pain, and from this he receives the same sense of fulfillment most human beings get from a kiss or an embrace. Your caricatures, all of you, without your masks, your caricatures. And then, of course, with your masks. Okay. We have to wear these ugly things. And then I like... this kind of leads into an episode we're going to talk about over the course of this 50, Nothing in the Dark, which has this beautifully touching depiction of death as a peaceful thing and a transcendence. And this sort of has that too with the doctor. I've got it here. The doctor goes, this must be death. No horror, no fear, nothing but peace.
That was nice.
And
although, you know what was a bit dated. I don't know.
Oh, these masks from an old Cajun.
Oh, there's that, and there's also his death.
Oh,
where he just.
I guess as a stupid kid, I would always go, "How on earth did he die exactly at midnight?" And then I was like, "Oh," and then I realized, oh, it's because he's wearing the death mask. I was just so stupid. I think it's a very sudden death, which you can pass off as that's the mask. Like at 12 o'clock, the mask makes him dead. That's it. So, but yeah, no. I completely. It's the classic. I completely agree.
Just in case you missed that he was about to die.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
I love how he says bon voyage.
Yeah.
You've all come to watch me bid bon voyage. Rather delightful.
Rains over my eyes.
The eyes, the secrets to the soul. Big fan of this episode, and I think this is, although he plays the father, Milton Seltzer is less than 8 years older than Alan Suez. Don't know if that got picked up on the mic, but I did fart. Yeah,
it did.
Yeah, okay. You know what? We're going to keep that in. People fart. Then when I'm rich and famous.
The Twilight Zone.
In the Twilight Zone, a man's gas can only escape at certain times. A man lives his entire life without farting at bad moments. Then all of a sudden, a podcast comes. He's looking at episodes of the Twilight Zone with a friend, Jay. Then suddenly he feels it, the fart. He thinks he can hold it in. Perhaps this one will be silent, but there are no silent farts. There are no easy farts, not in the Twilight Zone. You know, Wilfred, I think the only book you ever read was a ledger. I think if somebody cut you open, they would find a cash register. Lovely selling stuff in this. I think we've touched on this with how grotesque the masks are, or rather aren't. What do you think happens to these people after today? Do they go about their daily lives? Do they turn to, exile with their money? Do they live forever in the mansion? I think that could be touched on in the narration. I think it's left ambiguous, but it's left so. I don't think for me, the ending's rather abrupt. Rather than ambiguous, it's abrupt. And I think you could have in the narration a bit more of an ending, maybe touch upon, and these people have their fortune now, but they have their fortune, they have the mansion, and that is where they will reside for the rest of their lives, trapped in the mansion with all the money in the world in the Twilight Zone. I think that's, for me, that's the ending, and that's how I see it. So maybe I'm just putting my own personal bias on it.
I think you have a good point. I mean, I didn't. Yeah, it would have been nice to see something about what happens to them after this, because all you really see is their faces get deformed, and then it kind of cuts to the doctor, and they're all stood on the stairs, like,
waiting for the doctor. Well, this is the closing narration we get. Mardi Gras incident, the dramatis personae being 4 people who came to celebrate and in a sense let themselves go. This they did with a vengeance. They now wear the faces of all that was inside them, and they'll wear them for the rest of their lives. Said lives now to be spent in shadow. So it does touch on it a little bit. Tonight's tale of men, the macabre, and masks of the Twilight Zone. So it does, shadow. So it is there. I guess it doesn't need to be more abrupt. I guess it doesn't need to be more painfully clear.
I think what is it? Oh God, what was I going to say?
I don't know. Something about him torturing animals.
No.
You know what I found funny? That all of the faces, all of the masks kind of look like them anyway.
Yeah. Oh, right. There we go. So it's not that, but I think I kind of guessed where the twist was gonna go when he was like describing himself as this really nice guy, and he's very clearly not. And then they're all putting on the masks that are literally pretty close to how they actually are.
I think the giveaway is Virginia Gregg's nose. Obviously, it's not as cartoonishly long, but it is quite like a sharp, angular nose. And then you look at the mask, and it's a sharp, angular nose, but it's more long and it's a bit more crooked. And you go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see where we're going, maybe. Do you have anything left to say about The Masks, Jay? A lovely little macabre gothic episode.
I really, really quite enjoyed it. Very theatrical, very much like a short play.
Jay's freezing. I believe he's saying a short play.
Didn't really get to this until yes, that is what I said. And I think I don't know. I really liked it. I like the characters quite a lot. Yeah.
I think gothic's the right word. I think it's spooky.
Oh yeah.
Spooky. It's like a nice little tall tale.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do rankings. Oh, I'm glad that we got this to do now. I like rankings. We're loading now the official. Look at this, the official Carruthers Leggetter Whoever podcast. This is the first time it's ever been shown on the main feed. That's quite. Look at this; it's quite exciting. There's all of our Mad Men rankings, as you all know from watching. Okay, so I think the way we do this is very simple. We just. So I think we can, unless you come with a controversial opinion somewhere down the line, I think we're still both agreed that Walking Distance is the best episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Time Enough at Last was the next one we did. So that stays there. Let's all put this in. Okay, so Time Enough at Last is there for the meanwhile. Okay. Then was Where Is Everybody? Now for me that isn't as would be third. Was that better than any of the episodes for you?
No.
Yes, we can put that there. Where Is Everybody? Followed by Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. Now, for me, that's better than Where Is Everybody? Yeah. And probably better than Time Enough at Last for me. What about you? However, I would be happy to put it at 3 and have Time Enough at Last at 2.
Yeah, that's what I had.
And then the masks. Now, where are we putting the masks? Does it beat Where Is Everybody? I think so.
Yep.
Does it beat? No, I don't know if it beats Nightmare at 20,000 Feet.
It did for me.
It did for you.
Did for me.
Oh, why is it being all silly? Oh, it's because it's all different fonts. What? Holy brain. Okay. Let's have. Okay, right then. Well, I think we need to bring in now. Dun 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 dun. This is the Saturday Night Live deck of cards that I received as a gift from previous guest Ava Robinson. Now, what's going to happen is here, if we disagree, seeing as we don't have a party, I'm going to pick at random a card. Okay. So I'm going to pick at random a card. Okay, here we go. Why are the jokers in here? Is that supposed to be Wild and Crazy Guy? I haven't even. Oh, it's the key. Oh, that's okay. Sorry, I was just looking at these SNL cards. Okay, so the card is 6. It's a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jay, do you think this next card is higher or lower than a 6? If you get it right, then the masks goes above Nightmare at 20,000 feet.
Lower.
Lower than a 6. It's a 5, which means that the masks takes our spot at number 3 currently. The masks. And there we go. Okay, which means that yeah, I'm happy with that. Again, I like all these episodes. Really, it's going to be very boring. No, it's not going to be boring. We've got so much to talk about. We got so much fun. Jay, okay, so next week, Oh, okay, right, here we go. Yeah. We've got 2. We've got a double bill.
Okay.
Well, no, we've got one episode and then a week later another. That's like the oh hello joke where he goes, yeah, I'm binge watching on Netflix. I binge episodes. I binge watch an episode and then I wait a week and I binge watch another. We've got a double bill of Bill Mummy episodes. It's a Good Life and In Praise of Pip, starting off next week with It's a Good Life, which I believe in my top 20 came like 2nd or 3rd or something. I'm a big fan of It's a Good Life.
Okay.
Wonderful episode. It's a good episode. It's a really good episode. You'll know what that means all too soon, okay. Jay. It's a Good Life. Oh, bye, Jay.
Bye.
Do.